Welcome, football fans. Today, we take a closer look at a player whose journey to the NFL is more than just a sports story. It's a story about heart, humility, and home. A player whose strength was built not only in the weight room, but in the wide-open fields of South Dakota, where hard work isn't a choice. It's a way of life. This is Tucker Kraft, a young man who turned the lessons of small-town America into the blueprint for a professional career. A player whose success is proof that greatness doesn't depend on where you start, but on how fiercely you chase what you love. Tucker Kraft's story begins in Timberlake, a small town tucked away in the endless plains of South Dakota. A place where everyone knows everyone, where the air smells like harvest and hard work, and where dreams are built quietly, away from the noise of the world. In Timberlake, life is simple but demanding. You learn to take pride in effort, to show up even when no one's watching, and to keep your word no matter how tired you are. Those lessons weren't taught to Tucker in a classroom. They were lived every single day. In that environment, he developed the habits that would one day carry him all the way to the NFL. From a young age, Tucker stood out. He was big, strong, and fast. The kind of kid who seemed to move differently, who played every sport like it was his calling. But it wasn't just his size that made him special. It was his mentality. Even as a teenager, he worked like a pro. When the lights were off and the fields were empty, he stayed behind to perfect his steps, to strengthen his hands, to push his limits. His friends might have gone home, but Tucker was just getting started. There was a quiet fire in him, the kind that doesn't shout, but steadily burns through every obstacle in its way. At Timberlake High School, Tucker didn't just play football. He became football. On offense, defense, special teams, wherever his coaches needed him, he was there. That's the reality of small school football. If you love the game, you do everything. And Tucker loved the game enough to give it everything. He played tight end, running back, linebacker, and even safety. There were nights where he'd score a touchdown, make a goal line tackle, and block for a teammate all in one quarter. That versatility didn't just show athleticism, it showed heart. It showed that he didn't care about position or spotlight, only about winning, competing, and giving his all for his team. But even as he dominated high school football, Tucker's path to college wasn't lined with flashing lights or major headlines. He didn't come from a football hotbed or have recruiters camping outside his door. Instead, he had faith that someone, somewhere, would recognize the player he could become. And that faith led him to South Dakota State University, a program known for turning overlooked players into elite competitors. It was the perfect fit, a place built on the same values Tucker had lived by all his life: discipline, humility, and hard work. At South Dakota State, Tucker started where so many great athletes do, at the bottom. He redshirted his first season, learning the ropes, watching, absorbing everything around him. It wasn't glamorous. There were no game day crowds, no highlights, no national attention. But there was progress, slow, steady, and relentless. Tucker used that year to transform himself. Every lift, every film session, every rep on the practice field was an investment in the player he was becoming. It was there, in the quiet grind, that he began to shape his identity, not as a prospect, but as a professional in the making. By his second season, that work began to show. Tucker started flashing the potential that coaches had seen in him: soft hands, strong blocking, quick feet, and an ability to read defenses with precision. But it was his breakout 2021 season that turned him into one of the most talked about players in the FCS. Week after week, he became a nightmare for defenders, too fast for linebackers, too strong for safeties. He racked up over 700 receiving yards, led his team in big moments, and earned recognition as one of the top tight ends in the country. But if you asked him about it, he'd talk less about stats and more about his team, his coaches, and the hard work it took to get there. That's what defines Tucker Kraft: gratitude. For him, success isn't something you flaunt, it's something you honor. Every time he stepped on the field for the Jackrabbits, he carried with him the pride of his hometown, the belief of his family, and the lessons of those who taught him to never settle. He wasn't chasing attention, he was chasing better. Every day, every play, every season, better than yesterday, better than last game, better than last year. But like every journey worth telling, Tucker's story hasn't been free of adversity. Injuries tested him. Setbacks challenged his patience. Moments of doubt crept in, as they do for every great athlete. Yet through it all, he remained steady. He never complained, never wavered, never lost sight of his purpose. That's what separates him. It's easy to stay motivated when everything's going right. It takes character to stay focused when nothing's easy. Tucker Kraft has that character in abundance. By the time the 2023 NFL Draft arrived, Tucker's name had become one of the most respected among tight end prospects. Scouts saw the combination of size, athleticism, and toughness, but they also saw something deeper. A player with maturity beyond his years, a player who understands the game on every level. When the Green Bay Packers called his name, it was more than just a draft pick. It was a moment that connected everything. The kid from Timber Lake, the student of South Dakota State, the man ready to take on the National Football League. Stepping into the NFL is like stepping into another world. The competition, the speed, the scrutiny, it's intense. But from day one, Tucker approached it with calm focus. He didn't let the lights intimidate him. He let them illuminate the years of work that had prepared him for that moment. The Packers saw immediately what kind of player they had: a worker, a competitor, a teammate. Someone who didn't need to be told twice, who led by example, who put the team first. Early in his rookie season, his impact was felt most in the trenches. His blocking was fierce and selfless, the kind of effort that rarely makes headlines but wins the respect of coaches and players alike. And as the weeks went by, his role expanded. He became a dependable target in the passing game, developing chemistry with quarterback Jordan Love, making tough catches in traffic, and moving chains when it mattered most. Each game, each snap, each drive, he grew. By the end of the season, fans knew they were witnessing the emergence of something special, a tight end built not just on talent, but on toughness and tenacity. What makes Tucker Kraft so easy to root for is his authenticity. He doesn't play for attention. He plays because he loves the game. You can see it in the way he carries himself. Confident but humble, proud but never boastful. He's grounded in gratitude, always quick to credit his teammates and coaches, always mindful of the journey that got him here. That humility, paired with his competitive fire, makes him the kind of player every locker room needs. Off the field, Tucker remains deeply connected to his roots. He hasn't forgotten the place that raised him or the people who supported him when his dreams were just that, dreams. He's passionate about giving back, about showing kids from small towns that they don't have to limit themselves. He's living proof that you can come from the middle of nowhere and still make it everywhere, as long as you believe in yourself and never stop working. When you listen to Tucker talk about football, it's not about fame or fortune, it's about fulfillment, about being part of something bigger than yourself, about representing your family, your team, and your values every time you put on that helmet. That's what sets him apart. He plays the game the right way, with respect, with integrity, and with effort that never dips below 100%. Every team has stars, but every great team has players like Tucker Kraft, the glue guys, the grinders, the ones who do the little things that make the big things possible. And that's what makes his future so exciting. Because as talented as he is, his greatest strength is that he's never satisfied. He knows there's always another level, another step, another goal to chase. And knowing his work ethic, he'll reach them all, one rep, one season, one championship at a time. For the Packers, Tucker represents the future, a player who embodies everything Green Bay stands for: toughness, tradition, and team. He fits the culture, he respects the history, and he plays with the kind of heart that fans can rally behind. He's not just a name on a roster. He's a symbol of what it means to earn your place through effort and belief. And for those watching, for the dreamers, the grinders, the small-town kids with big goals, Tucker Kraft's story is a reminder that you don't have to come from privilege to find purpose. You don't need to be seen by the world to start building your legacy. You just need the courage to start and the determination to keep going. Because sometimes, the greatest success stories begin in the quietest places. Tucker Kraft's rise from Timber Lake to the NFL is a story that transcends football. It's about identity, about staying true to who you are while chasing who you want to be. It's about remembering where you came from while reaching for what's ahead. And it's about knowing that no matter how bright the lights get, the real strength comes from the roots that ground you. This is Tucker Kraft, the small-town kid who never stopped dreaming, the college standout who never stopped working, and the NFL player who's just getting started. His journey reminds us that success isn't about fame, it's about fulfillment. It's about waking up every day ready to prove that effort still matters, that humility still wins, and that character still counts. Thank you for watching and joining us on this journey through the inspiring career of Tucker Kraft, a player who's showing the world that determination, faith, and hard work are still the truest paths to greatness. If his story inspired you, if it reminded you that every dream is worth chasing no matter where it starts, then take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in the grind, and subscribe for more stories like this. Because in every generation, there are players who remind us what the game is really about, and Tucker Kraft is one of them.